Welcome to Break a Wish, the podcast where all your dreams come true, but with terrible, ironic consequences. I'm your host, Maddox Campbell. On each show, we take a magic wish and try to come up with the perfect ironic cost. The idea is that knowing the wish's cost, it would still be a tough call whether you'd take it or not. Last week we had, you can travel anywhere in the world instantly, but when you use this wish, you pick a time or a place, and the other is random. The places are somewhat safe, but you must use this wish at least once when you take it. Well, my listeners have something in common with every girl's profile on Tinder. They love to travel. Our Twitter poll had 86% accept this wish, though our Facebook discussion group was a tie. Some of the listeners made some good points. Andrea Davidson on Twitter mentioned that she thought that people were forgetting how much of the world is water. Yeah, that's true. And listener Yolanda pointed out that if she chose the time of now and then just kept on wishing until she found a place she liked, that could maybe work. I think she's underestimating how many places there are, but enjoy your trips. For this week's wish, we're looking inward. We'll be looking inward. Rachel Cassidy Cree in our Facebook discussion group wished to be able to read minds. Let's see what my guests Caleigh Legrand and Carmine Lucarelli have on their minds. All right, we've got a new wish coming in, and this one is going to be a lot of fun. But first, let's meet who we have with us. We have Caleigh Legrand.
Hello.
And Carmine Lucarelli.
Hello there.
And we are going with the ability to read minds. A classic ability. A superhero ability. Let's see. Does anyone have anything off the top of their head that they want to pitch as a cost?
I have a couple.
Okay, you have a couple. Right out the gate. All right.
Only because I have experience with 3D minds. So
you got to back that up a little bit and explain.
So I can read anybody's mind at any given moment.
What am I thinking of right now?
I cannot voice that on this episode.
Oh no, that's probably accurate. I know Carmine well enough. It's probably a dirty thought.
Why would you think that?
It wasn't dirty. Maddox.
Maddox, what is wrong with you?
What was it then?
If you could only hear what's in his head right now.
It's dirty.
Gosh.
It's dirty thoughts.
Probably.
No, so I've been actually working on a series. One of my projects has been about a girl who has the ability to read minds. In the first season, she's able to actually see people's memories. Second season, oh my God, I'm giving all my IP away right now. Anyway, second season, she can read what's going on in their heads in present. And then the third season, she can actually read their futures.
Ooh.
And so I've been playing with the idea of what these ironic costs would be for her character for a while now.
Well, I think you're more exploring what possible scenarios would come and backfire, but like what we're trying to think also like a cost that comes with the ability, right? So in your fiction, trying to steal more of your IP, is there like an innate cost that does she have a built-in weakness?
Okay, I'll play around with a couple of ideas that might not necessarily be the ones that I chose for the series, so you cannot steal them. One of the potential costs would be that in order to open the channel that would allow her to read someone else's mind, it means that she's opening a two-way channel, and they can also hear what's in her mind.
I was thinking about that idea as well, yeah.
The other is that there is a, for a lack of a lengthy explanation, let's call it a tumor. It's not necessarily a tumor, but the ability comes from basically an overgrowth in her mind that has solidified and grown the connection between the two hemispheres of her brain to a point where they've been essentially melded together. So the synaptic transactions are happening at such a rapid rate that science can't even measure it. And it's similar to, say, when you go into anaphylactic shock, when your body starts not only fighting off the bad agent, but it just fights off everything. So the good cells, the bad cells, and it starts to kill you. So it's an overactive part of her brain. So if you want to be able to read somebody's mind, you have the cost of potentially growing a tumor in your brain.
I mean, I'm just going to challenge the part where you said it's immeasurable by science, because I'm going to you just need better science then. Just get a better science.
Current science.
Okay, that's fine then.
Immeasurable by current science.
Yeah.
Well, this intellectual property thing it's troubling because I don't know if you read my mind, but I also have a series I've been working on.
Okay.
But my female protagonist can read minds. So if she goes to like a gold mine, the gold will tell her where it is.
That's what I was thinking. That's what
Is
I
that what we're
heard.
doing? We're
and your
tricking-
mind went to Dirty Town.
That's
Reading
pretty
minds.
because that like reading minds would be that pretty much all the time. It'd just be like people like, oh, I wonder what that sandwich will taste like. It's just the most banal thoughts,
Right. Yeah.
And almost
What
all
about
the
if
time.
it's like a
But here's the cost.
former war zone, and they could know where all the mines are in the ground, the landmines, because they can read those.
Well, that's season 2.
oh, that's season 2.
Yeah, because she's always reading minds,
And yours is called the pun mine reader.
yeah, and in the third season, she's mostly playing a classic Windows video game.
Right. Okay.
You stole my IP.
I totally,
So all of your intellectual
Oh, dear.
properties.
I really hope both shows get made.
I really do.
I hope they're on the same night on competing networks, and people have to
Right
decide.
after Mind Reader.
CBC's a knockin'.
Okay, so
The cost is a tumor.
So you had the two-way channel one, so they can read your mind if you can read their mind, which I like that one.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Or the idea of a tumor is another one you're pitching. You're pitching 2 from the get-go, but that's fine. We're not you're greedy or anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do.
We'll try Carmine then. Do you have an idea?
Yeah, you can read people's minds, but the only thoughts are the ones about you. And you can't turn it off either. So every time you are getting intimate with a new partner, you know they're having thoughts about you, your body, your performance, and you can't shut those off. They'll come in. But so you can read people's minds, but it's only the stuff about you.
Isn't that why people would want to read minds? I mean, they're self-centered. You'd want to know what other people are thinking for your own sake, about you.
I still think there's
Sure.
a point of like, because you're saying it's always on. There's sometimes you want to hear what other people think of you, but sometimes you really don't want to hear that you have a weird shaped penis. And that's going to come up because all penises are kind of weird shaped. No?
Mine's great.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Oh, no.
No, yeah, I see what you're saying, but I fear there has to be a cost to it because there's that benefit of like knowing. It's like,
Yeah, the
does
knowing.
this salesman think he's ripping me off? And you would be able to know that.
Yeah.
So wait,
The cost is that.
There would still be a
Is
lot
your-
of usefulness out of it.
is your cost that you can't turn it off, or it's that it's all the thoughts about you?
It was both, wasn't it?
Yeah, when you like the only thoughts that come through to you through this mind reading ability are the thoughts about you by other people. Like somebody goes, "What a hack," or like, "Fuck, I find that person tiresome," or whatever.
Yeah.
Like those would come through to you, as well as like, "Oh man, I love them," and it's like, "Oh, this is not reciprocated. Oh, this is gonna be awkward. That's my teacher." Whatever it is.
So
I'm not
in
talking-
my day,
No, I don't know. I think that's an interesting cost because you get
Yeah.
the benefit of mind reading, but you also have to,
It-
know what other people actually think of you and their private thoughts.
and you wouldn't be able to turn that off.
No,
And there's a
that's
lot of things you
serious
still
cost.
can't do. You still can't steal people's passwords, and you still can't
Exactly. Yeah.
find out what would work better in your presentation to convince them to
Yeah.
buy your
Unless
product.
they were like, "My password's Maddox," while they looked at you.
Well,
in which
then-
case, then yeah.
do many people use me as their password? Have either of you ever?
I use weird shaped penis. Like,
Oh,
that's what I
yeah,
use as
no.
my password.
So it's about me.
Mine is Maddox's penis.
Maddox's
so
penis.
same
Yeah.
Come on, show us.
No.
We just want to know if our passwords were right.
It's a drawing. You draw what you think my penis looks like.
That's right.
It's like a captcha. If it works, then
Prove you're not a robot. You gotta draw.
Drop your pants.
Because I think a robot, if they went to the site and it tried to draw a penis, it would just draw like a straight line and be like, that's close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see a video on the internet where somebody had trained their robot to do a check
Like
mark
the
or whatever
captcha,
it was.
yeah, they press the button.
That was clever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's
so-
my cost. So
Yours is in the present thoughts. Like mind reading in the present. You can't
Yeah,
search their memories. You can't dig into their past.
no, I don't think so. You can read their mind or their current thoughts. It's sort of like you can't go back in time in a river. Like you can stand in the river as it is that moment.
Yeah, so the current thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
River.
You went
current.
really poetic to say that, but we just mean their current thoughts.
I know. I almost started thinking about Pocahontas.
Right? Shall I compare thee to a summer's river?
Okay. Yeah, no, I think there's a clear way in which that would be still useful,
Still useful, yeah.
but still also something
And
you
have
would
the-
have pause about wanting to know.
For sure. Because it'd be really strange for, say, me and you were talking, and then suddenly into my mind came Caleigh's real thoughts about me.
Yeah.
Or what she thought in that moment about me. That could be crushing.
Especially it'd be distracting from our conversation. We were trying to have a very deep conversation, and she's just thinking about you the whole time.
I know. It's strange.
I only have really good thoughts about you.
Oh, that's
I think
nice.
you're wonderful.
I know. I was using it as an example because it's so beyond the pale. I mean, you never have bad thoughts.
It's still disruptive to our
You're
conversation. It
you're
would be
a kind person.
distracting.
It would be distracting.
It would be really hard to have a conversation when all you hear is, I think you're great. I think you're great.
Imagine
you're
trying to give a
Imagine you're great.
presentation. Like,
it'd
we
be
all
impossible.
have stage actors. So if suddenly the entire audience starts thinking judgments about your performance while you're having it, good or bad, that's going to get up in your head. You can't stand in front of a crowd anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you tune that out?
You
And
can't.
distance doesn't matter. So you could be in the throes of making love, be like, Mom's worried about me and my jobs.
Oh, no.
Oh, that would be
And then you
in-
can't
that'd be
explain to your girlfriend
incessant.
why it's
You
going
can't.
down. And
It's like, it's not you, it's my mom. It's
no.
not an excuse for losing a boner.
No, it's not.
And also, you could never be famous because it would be relentless.
Yeah. You'd want to be as low key as possible.
Wow.
In a way-
That's a big price now that I think of it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's already something that if you're on a level of celebrity, I think you already experience. I mean, you can choose to not look at the tabloids, but it's also
True.
we live in a world where we are bombarded by so many messages. Not even just if you're a celebrity, but as any human being these days, we are bombarded by messages everywhere, and you just turn on Twitter, and most of them are negative anyway. So you're already getting that. We kind of live in a mind-reading world already.
Yeah. In a way, Carmine's wish is constantly typing your name into Google. It's that, but in your head.
Yeah, but their results are like shockingly accurate and always surprising.
If you're famous enough, they're always pretty honest anyway, because everyone thinks, oh, no one's going to read this.
Yeah, but it's not like Clooney has to walk around and every once in a while said, Pitt thinks what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And be surprised by people he thought he knew.
True. The
'Cause
people you
that
thought you
would-
know, they wouldn't.
Oh
yeah,
my God,
You
yeah.
wouldn't hear those.
For sure.
Okay, I'm thinking I'm going with a different route then, because I had one of your guys' ideas, and now I'm having to think of something new.
The two-way channel one?
I had the two-way channel. I like that idea too, because it would be the idea of you're vulnerable every time you try to use it, right?
So in your heads, mind control is like you can mine people's minds,
It's
right?
mind
You can get
reading.
their memories, what they think about this.
I was still thinking of it only in the moment. So it was like you can turn on your ability to read their mind, but if you get any thoughts from it, they immediately hear your instinctual thought about their thought, right? So if you're like, I wonder which one of these shirts this person would rather see me wear. And so you show them their shirts and you read their mind to go which one they like better to get an honest opinion. But then they hear you go, oh, she likes that one?
Yeah, it's kind of like a Trojan horse into your email. If you open it up, then they can start hacking in until you change your password or do some sort of safe measure.
Well,
They're
they
getting-
hear
would have-
your opinions on their thoughts.
But they'd have no idea what was happening. They would think,
They
well,
would-
that's a
yes.
strange thought that I normally wouldn't think.
You're right. You're the only person with mind reading, so they would. I mean, your close ones would probably catch on.
Yeah, after a while, they'd be like, that was an awfully Maddox thought I had just now.
It's not in a world where it's understood that that's what's
No,
happening.
yeah, you're the only one who has this.
Oh, so all of a sudden they're just like, I'm hearing voices.
Yeah, I guess everyone you try to mind read would also think they're insane.
Yeah.
You would cause
commit
irreparable psychological
everybody.
damage to everyone you try to mind read. So, okay, this might cause the same problem, but let's try it anyway. You can read people's minds, but it's not quiet. It's not like you hear their thoughts in your head. So you can hear someone's thoughts, but it's because it suddenly is vocalized for all to hear as soon as you try to read it.
Oh my God, that's...
Everyone in your vicinity.
Everyone in the
That's
vicinity. So like
nefarious.
at speaking volume, it's suddenly their thoughts go out to everyone. So it's not like you're secretly reading someone's mind. Everyone hears the thought when you try to
Right.
read it.
You're
and they
like-
know you just tried to read their thoughts
Oh.
because they just heard it out loud.
This is the worst bully in high school ever, this
Yeah.
mind reader, right?
You
pick your
have
spots, you
the
could destroy someone.
ability of you're like taking a stethoscope and putting it on somebody's mind and then shoving the ear holes into everybody's ears.
Is it? Yeah. So
That
this
was-
is-
That was really specific and totally on the ball. Like, that was
those
spot
are the
on.
technical terms of stethoscope. There's
Yeah.
the ear holes.
Ear holes,
ear
yeah.
holes. Yeah.
Into the other ear holes. Everybody gets an end.
Everyone gets ears in their holes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how this might actually just be. Again, this is a power that might be more villainous if used for evil, but it's stopping you from using it secretly.
Sure.
These are like Google Glasses. This is why this ended.
Google Glass was ended because they didn't put any effort into making them look not terrible. If they just made them, just put some glass, made them look like Geordie's visor, everyone would have loved that. I would
Right.
want to be like Geordie LaForge, but no, they had them open and weird looking things, and you had to flick your face up all the time. It was the worst. It was so bad. So I guess we're not getting sponsored by Google Glass on this episode. But okay, so let's summarize the 3 main ones. You had 2, but let's see if you can pick one. Which one do you like better, the Two-Way Street or the tumor? I kind of like Two-Way Street more than tumor. Oh. Do you like tumor better? I just feel like if we pick tumor, then we also have to pick like how dangerous it is, how far.
It does have a lot of backstory. 3 seasons already. So it's great for your show, for your IP. But we'll choose the Two-Way Radio.
Two-Way Radio, okay. Carmine,
I've modified mine slightly.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you're free to. You can read anybody's minds. You can go through the memories, hear what they're hearing right now. The price is though, anytime anybody has a thought about you anywhere in the world, a channel will open up for you to hear it.
Oh, okay. So
that's involuntary.
Your voluntary power lets you just read their mind, whatever. But involuntarily, you hear every thought about you anywhere in the world.
Yes.
Ooh, I like that. Because it still makes the power very useful.
Yes, and you can use it anywhere.
But it's also just, if you become famous, it's screaming in your brain.
Totally.
Even if you're like 15 minutes famous, like if you get on the evening news.
Or something horrible. You know, you make that one slip up on air or something, or whatever it is, and then everybody trolls you immediately. That sort of like, oh, we're going to stamp them down because they're terrible people based on one out of context quote I took that I don't even understand the meaning of the words of. You know what I mean? Little things like that.
And you're going to hear everything.
But even if you don't have any kind of slip up and people worship you, you're still hearing all of those thoughts about you all the time. It's like that Jim Carrey movie when he plays God and he hears you can't turn it off.
No, you can't turn it off. And the scary part is like the people who think of you most are typically your loved ones, and you might not want to hear all their honest thoughts about you.
Yes, that's true. I assume they're probably, even if they're doing it from the best intentions, they're probably judging like my life choices, and I just don't need to hear that noise.
Constantly, yeah.
Yeah.
Or even worse,
like how I'm living my life.
Worse, how come I've never heard a thought from Dad about me, ever? Even worse.
Oh, what you don't hear.
Yeah. Well, in my case, he's deceased, so it would make sense.
Oh, could you hear their voices after death?
No. But I'm saying it makes sense. I don't hear from my dad.
But if you do hear from your dad, you're like, oh no, he faked his own death.
What?
Oh, yeah. Okay, but like that's what I was asking about. In your scenario, the people have to be alive in order to hear
They have to be alive, yeah.
Okay.
I just said it made sense to never hear from my dad because he's deceased. But say if you never heard a thought from your dad about you, wouldn't that sort of gnaw on you?
Yeah.
I think in your scenario, no matter what, I would Walden myself. I would go to the woods like Henri David Thoreau, and I would not want to be around any other human being, and I would hermit myself.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Geography doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So if they think of you, they think about you on a trip to Athens.
So suicide's
and
the
you're
only option.
So it would be a whole lot of...
Great. That went dark fast.
The only thought you'd hear would be, I haven't heard from Caleigh for a while.
Yeah.
Just constantly, you'd start hearing that more and more.
Yeah, if you did Walden yourself, you would eventually, those voices would dissipate because... out of sight, out of mind?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. It would get quieter.
I think some people would still think of you, though. Like the people who are very invested in you, like parents, until they pass, and then you're in the clear. That's probably not a silver lining on your...
No, it's fine by me.
Okay. People who care about you would start to worry about you more if you suddenly went missing without reason or cause.
Only for a while. They'd get a new daughter.
Okay. They put
Dark
the
again.
work in?
Were you purchased?
I used to be a wooden doll.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. And I'm already thinking mine is not in the running anymore, but mine was you read their minds and everyone around them can hear it too.
That's funny.
It's funny, but it's also probably just mean. It's probably just a bullying tool.
Yeah, it really would be.
Which it turns into a feedback loop of like, oh no, everyone's making fun of me. No one likes me.
You add that to Mean Girls and it's a really even worse movie.
But that seems like a coveted tool for one of those, what was that Tom Cruise movie where they could see into your mind into the future what you were going to do? The cops could stop you.
Minority Report.
Born on the 4th of July.
No. It was...
No?
Not, it was
so
Minority.
Groundhog Day.
Minority...
The day after tomorrow?
28 days?
Minority Report. They were called...
It's the one where he dances in the underwear, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Shaky Business.
Shaky Business. Oh, yeah, you're right. It is Minority Report. The True Crimes Unit, which is a wonderful sci-fi movie. It's very good.
Right. So that would be... It could be argued as a constructive tool for police officers to have the ability, or like in that
Some people
world.
would still make good use of it because they could still get confessions out of people.
So is it something that you would be able to like just acquire on the job?
Well, this is all these magic wishes are like, hey, you find a genie, you find a magic machine, you put in your wish into the machine, and then you get your wish. Like, you have one chance to do it, and you decide whether you take it or not.
So we always have to factor in whether man is good or bad. Okay.
Well, you know, we make it work for the wish, but then it's always good to know that, like, if a person is bad enough, it won't be a cause for them to just be a monster.
Right. And if you're a cop, no wishes. Cops don't get wishes.
Cops can get wishes.
No, cops can't get wishes.
Cops don't get wishes.
If
they signed
they're
up for
willing to pay the
wishless
cost,
duty.
cops can get the wishes too.
All right.
They have to know that there's a lot of responsibility that comes with this wish. They should be trained in the usage of their wishes.
Oh, yeah. They've done a stellar job.
They should have to get
Using their
certified to
powers
use
for
their
good.
wish. Yeah, they need to get certified to use their powers for good on the job.
I've seen that movie, Cop Wish.
Oh man, Genie Cop would be a fun buddy cop where one cop is a straight edge
Genie cop.
straight edge cop who does everything by the book, and the other one is
Please write that sketch.
a genie.
Yeah. Does everything
that has to serve him, but also always tries to come up with ironic causes for the wishes that he hands out.
I choose
his
bad
wishes
cop,
and
Genie
justice.
Cop. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would pay for that.
All right, I'll go work on that. That's my next project. Good cop, Genie Cop.
Yeah.
Good cop, Genie cop. I guess this case is back in the bottle. Yeah. Those are some consequences there.
Yeah. Do we have any ones that we're leaning best towards? I think I'm leaning Carmine's right now. I like the cost being that you know everyone's thoughts about you. I like how that will be a cost even if you aren't using the wish actively. It's a cost that comes in as soon as you take the wish, whether you use it or not.
And it's a floodgate you can't turn off.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I guess there'd be no restrictions on. It's not like the more you mind read, the more these thoughts about you come in. It's just you got this power.
Though if you use your mind read power to become famous, then it's suddenly you get the floodgates. So it's going to make you. It's going to change the way you live your life because you're going to want to
Totally.
make sure you don't have to deal with that too much.
Yeah, and you got to live in the same time zone as everybody who thinks of you, and ideally with the same schedule so you can get some sleep.
Oh, you don't want to be big in Japan. You never get any sleep.
No sleep at all. Oh, Genie Cop, this is another fine mess you've got us into.
The star Genie Cop would not want to get this wish. Yeah.
No, not.
He'd think at first, hey, this is just my method acting. I need to spend some time with a genie.
Yeah.
Take a wish.
He'd just go home and rub one out.
I was thinking of that earlier. I said, don't say it.
Don't
And you
say
just,
it.
bam. That's great.
I read your mind.
I love
I
you
said
totally.
it for you.
Oh my God, and we changed that Sarah song to I can read your mind. I can totally find a way.
Well, what's Christina Aguilera going to sing about?
I don't know. Just hair? I don't know what she sings about.
She
Great.
has
all
a
the
song
white
about
books.
being a genie in the bottle.
Oh, I don't
Okay.
see. I didn't know
That's good.
I thought
that.
that I was the only one that remembered
No,
that.
I remember.
No.
I was just trying to come up with a witty line. I couldn't come with one. And then I realized that Carmine didn't know what we were talking about. And I'm like,
No.
calling him out on that, that'll be witty enough.
Yeah, for sure.
She didn't play stickball.
Oh my God, all your thoughts about me are flooding into my head right now, and I don't like the sound of
Judgment
them.
about you just weren't as active in the pop music
Always-
scene in the
always-
early to mid 90s.
Carmine played stickball.
Yeah.
What a dummy. Most of my self-worth is wrapped up in my mind. All right.
Well, let's move on to the second phase of this podcast then. Would you take this wish? So the wish is you can read minds, but anyone thinks about you anywhere in the world and you can hear it. Caleigh, let's start with you.
No, I would not take it because I already have the ability and it's taxing. I hear all your thoughts all the time.
Wait, you
What?
looked me straight in the eyes when you said that.
I think that it would be... I already think that everybody has a certain ability to read other people's energies. And that alone, when you... Even if it's just me being up in my head or like self-critical, we already have that element for ourselves where we wonder what other people are thinking of us. And so we write those stories in for ourselves. That's all we have is what we're writing in our head and or what people are saying out loud. So that is already something I think that we struggle with. And I would not want to turn that on, that like add volume to that.
See, my challenge to that and why I will admit I think I would take this wish is that I do try to construct those stories of what other people think of me, but I'm pretty sure that I'm bad at it, like really inaccurate at what I think other people think of me. Mm-hmm. Or at the very least, I'm the type of person who needs to know things for sure in order to act on them. So I'll be like, I think this about this person, but I still don't like, I think this person wants to hang out with me. I think this person likes me, but I still don't want to impose because maybe I'm misreading the situation. And then so I hang back and I get self-conscious. If I just knew what people thought of me, that's more knowledge and that's more power to me. And I'm not that good at getting famous anyway. So getting that feedback, I do Google myself a lot.
But I think that
much more than I should.
I think you have more power when you don't actually hear other people's, when you don't know for sure, because you have the ability to be like, that's just a story I'm telling myself, and put that to rest. Whereas once you hear, like if you were to hear nothing from your father, or if you were to hear that your mother does not like you, then that is real. You are solidifying it. It's huge. It can be painful. Whereas if you get to make the choice as to whether or not you want to accept it as a reality if you're not already hearing it out loud. You can create your own reality that way.
I don't think I have the ability to change my instinctual perceptions enough. I don't think I can change my mind about what I think. I think I can only have the worst thoughts about myself and just have to go like, that's what I think. Whereas at least if I knew, then I would know the right thing. Even if it was terrible, I would know the truth.
And you think that that is easier to handle than the stories you create?
I think my stories are probably... I think I'm harsher on myself than the universe.
Oh, most people are, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And most people don't realize how often they think somebody's thinking about something about them when it has nothing to do with you, because people have their own lives to worry about. They're not always thinking about other people.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And you would know then that, I'm not hearing anything.
Exactly.
That's not about me.
She's just really worried about some aspect of her life she chose not to share with me, but I chose to steal from her brain with my mind-reading powers.
But it sounds like you already know that if you are creating stories that are not true, that you think worse about you. Like if we are all too self-critical.
Yes.
And we already know that. I think that's something that has been written about for days and days on end for years. Like that's a human nature. Then you have the ability to put that to rest. And on a deeper level, you already know that that's true. So if you were to hear something that is soul-crushing, I don't know why I'm arguing it out of the...
Yes, I know. So here's what I'm going to say is I know that some of the bad things I think about myself are not true. But some of them probably are. And so I don't know which are which. Whereas if I at least knew which bad things were real, then I could reject the ones that aren't real. I could go, oh, that one's not true. People don't think that about me. But right now, I just go, half of these probably aren't true. But I don't know which half. It's like advertising. Mm-hmm. You know half your advertising works, but you have no idea which half. Half the things I think are terrible, that people think are terrible about me, are not true. I don't know which half.
But you want to know for sure what other people think of you.
You would take the mind reading.
Yeah, I would take the mind reading. And then I think I would know what other people think of me. And I would be able to consciously choose what changes I wanted to make to improve myself, to change that, and which ones I didn't care about. Because maybe if you're a jerk and you hate me for dumb reasons, I don't want you to like me.
I think that that's true in most of the cases. If somebody has negative thoughts about you, at the end of the day, it's a reflection of how they feel about themselves anyway. And then you get to just keep on keeping on. I'm still trying to talk you out of this.
Yeah.
I'm so worried about this becoming a real thing. I'm like, please don't take it. Don't take the pill.
I just want to stress, I do not have any real magic.
Okay.
I can't actually grant these wishes. This has come up before. People think
Yeah.
I got some magic powers. I do not have any real magic powers. I cannot grant these wishes.
Maddox,
but
you do.
You caused that brownout.
don't reference the thing they don't know about.
That's right.
Carmine, would you take this wish?
No, for like a lot of reasons.
Can you narrow that down to which ones?
Yeah,
Or
sure.
talk about them.
Okay, one just throwaway one, just for the comedy rules. 3 is we had 2 Star Trek references. Everybody hates Deanna Troi. I don't want to be Deanna Troi. I love hosting shows or performing on stage, and that would be nigh on impossible because everybody's having thoughts about you in that moment and it would mess with me. And for the most part, I don't care what people think of me. So I would find it almost unbearable that I couldn't turn off somebody I didn't care about's thoughts about me from coming into my head. That would be annoying. And I think it'd be too easy to get warped and end up being cruel. So using your mind reading powers for cruelty.
So you just don't think you could deal with the responsibility of have mind reading?
No, I think I could deal with the responsibility, but I think that relentlessness of people's thoughts coming in would warp
Would
you.
sour you.
Yeah, it would warp you over time for sure, especially as you aged and had less filters.
Yeah, I would probably not be able to do any stage performance anymore. That would have to go away, I think.
Yeah.
That'd be hard.
I could still podcast because based on the amount of tweets I get and the amount of tweets I wish I was getting. If I was just getting those pings whenever someone thought they were about to tweet and then never ended up following through, and I got those as pings, I would feel better.
Fair enough.
I'd feel like I had more audience interaction. I get that actual like, someone's listening to one of my podcasts. I know now.
Oh
Nice.
man, I don't even read the notifications on my phone.
Oh, man. You know what? I am going to write Good Cop, Genie Cop. I'm going to write that
You're
screenplay.
gonna write that?
I'm a good man.
Can we write it together?
Yeah, for sure. Let's go rub one out.
Yeah.
Can I be
Caleig's
the
joke.
genie? I want to be the genie.
Totally.
There's definitely the catchphrase, the tagline to this has to be something about like they're rubbing out crime.
Yeah.
Rubbing a crime.
I didn't
Oh,
quite get
man.
there, but there's something
Yeah.
on that line. Yeah.
Got crime? We'll rub it out.
We'll rub it out.
Yeah. He'll give you 3 wishes, but I'll only give you 3 chances to tell the truth. All right,
That's clunky. No, that was clunky. That was real clunky. Yeah.
for sure.
Caleigh, one more attempt at a tagline for Good Cop, Genie Cop.
Poof. You're dead.
Poof, you're done.
All right, and with that, we will wrap up this episode. So Caleigh and Carmine would not take this wish, but I would. I would take the ability to read minds in return for being able to hear everyone's thoughts about me. But what about you, audience? Would you take this wish? And are there any other wishes you'd like to hear us break down? Well, that's what we came up with, but we want to hear from you. Your wishes, your thoughts, whether you take this wish or not. You can find us on Twitter at breakawishpod. Email breakawishpod@gmail.com. And we have a Break-A-Wish discussion group on Facebook. And remember to write a review on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. To find all this information, visit breakawish.ca. Carmine Lucarelli co-owns the Social Capital Theatre, a great venue and bar here in Toronto. More info at socap.ca. Caleigh Legrand hosts a fellow Sonar Network podcast, We're Totally Not Okay, a podcast about the intersection between mass media culture and mental health. Find it on Twitter at WTNotOK or on thesonarnetwork.com. This is a Kicks and Giggles Entertainment